Federation's 100th anniversary. Back in 1881, the modern Olympic movement had not yet begun. We're in Montreux, Switzerland, along with Bart Conner, world champion on the parallel bars and America's top international gymnastics star, along with a fresh, new American face, Luci Collins, who's here making her international gymnastics debut. Also in attendance, 72 Olympic champion Ludmila Terestcheva. Yes, today, 100 years of gymnastics tradition is celebrated with an exhibition of champions. At the eastern end of Switzerland's magnificent Lake Léman, nestled between the lakeshore and the foothills of the Alps, lies the serene city of Montreux. Here, the good life is in abundance, in an area of the world where both water and winter sports abound. And because of Switzerland's long association and support of the International Gymnastics Federation, the sport's worldwide governing body, Montreux's Maison de Congrès has been chosen as the site for an exhibition commemorating the 100th anniversary of the Federation. Hi, I'm Steve Zabriskie, and welcome to the 100th anniversary of the Fédération Internationale Gymnastique, or as we say in America, the International Gymnastics Federation, often affectionately referred to as FIG. This is a unique gathering for these officials and gymnasts in that there is no competition here. It is merely an exhibition. For the officials, there are no meetings scheduled. It is merely a celebration. No one has any political axe to grind this time around. And in regard to a celebration, you might call it really the celebration of growth. Because 100 years ago, when the Federation was founded, there were only 12 member countries. There are now well over 70. America did not become a member until 40 years after the founding of the Federation. Originally, it was a European federation. Then in 1920, America had its first international gymnastics competition at the 1920 Olympic Games in Antwerp, Belgium. Shortly thereafter, the United States joined the Federation. Today, you'll be seeing both men and women performing here on Wide World. And working with us, former Olympian Kathy Rigby Mason. Kathy, what does it mean to these performers to be here in this particular event?
Well, it's very exciting for them in that just to be invited here, you have to be among the best in the world. And in the audience are all the top officials and judges that will be judging them in future Olympic and world-class competition. So to perform your best routine here, to be a crowd favorite, will mean a great deal to them. So there's a feeling of anticipation, of excitement for seeing just good, clean, fun gymnastics.
And those officials will obviously remember the routines the next time they are in competition. Also with us, our expert on men's gymnastics, Gordon Maddox. And Gordon, just who is here?
Well, Steve, we really have a marvelous array of athletes. For the first time since the Moscow Olympic Games, we have both the Olympic women's all-around champion, Elena Davydova, and the men's champion, Alexander Dichatine. Also, world champion Eberhard Gienger from West Germany is here. And, of course, Koji Gushiken, the strongest male gymnast in Japan. As for the Americans, we've got young star from California, Luci Collins, and we've got our own world champion, Bart Conner. And if these people are all hot, FIG should have a dynamite birthday party.
And what better way to begin the celebration than with an Olympic champion performing in his specialty event, Eberhard Gienger of West Germany on the horizontal bar.
Steve, he is my man. Watch the way he swings around the pipe. He is unbelievable. It's going to show you a one-armed giant, among other things. He is so at home up there, and he's so long. Makes it look great. Long-legged, stall or shoot. Here it comes. There's one. All right. Into an immediate pivot. Ooh, full twist over the top. He'll also show you a flyaway full half-turn regrasp. Right here. Yes. Eberhard's rather ancient, too. He won this event in the World Championships in 1974, a long time ago. He'll give you a big dismount now. Double twisting, double flyaway. Right here. All right, Eberhard.
And he nailed it, too. Eberhard Gienger, to show you the domination he's had in the high bar. He won the gold medal not only in the 74 World Championships, but in the World Cup in 77, 78, and 79.
There is an American wagon union. The current president of the Federation looks on. Here's a young comer from Tokyo, Japan, Koji Gushiken. He was 7th in the all-around in the World Championships 2 years ago. Gordon, he has really improved and come a long way since then.
He has, indeed. I firmly believe that this is his strongest event. The Japanese have really dominated the horizontal bar competition over the last about 20 years anyway. And he's learned a lot from his masters. High to high start. Into a stall or shoot, pivot. Stall to the other direction. Reverse hecht in here. Here it comes. He has to change direction, kind of in midair. Tip, change hands, a little work there. Now this is required to do something with a palmar grip. He did an inverted giant. Pivot out, and a double full twisting double flyaway. No, a layout double flyaway. Hang on there, Koji.
Koji Gushiken of Tokyo, Japan, and you can look for great things from him coming up in the '84 Olympics in Los Angeles.
Here comes another look at Gushiken's layout double flyaway, and boy, does he show some technique. Gets a nice high lift, throws his chest around, and just overturns it just a little bit. But it was a fine flyaway.
Koji Gushiken making a good impression on these gymnastics officials. Now here's a little bit of tension emanating from the body language of Luci Collins, 17 years old, getting ready for her international debut, which she talked about earlier with Kathy Rigby Mason.
Lucy, this has to mean a lot to you being here. This is the first time these judges that will judge you in international competition will have ever seen you. What do you hope to do here? Do you really want to make a big splash?
I hope to give a good impression of myself, so in the back of the judges' minds, they might remember my name. And when I go to future competitions, it'll help me to have the experience of this under me.
Here's Luci Collins from the United States, 17. She just had a birthday recently from Huntington Beach, California.
You have to feel a bit anxious for Lucy. This is her first time in front of these international judges. She has some incredible movements on the balance beam. Good dance, very nice dance. Look at that scissor split. And if she can maintain her concentration, I think she's going to be one that the judges will watch for in the next Olympics. Look at this layout. Gainer, so well done. Watch this, another one. Very nice, and she was having a little bit of trouble in practice on that particular move. There's split jump. Great composure. I think we're going to see great things from Lucy. Okay, here's another big move. It's a front flip. Let's see if she can hold on to it. All right, nice. So far, so good. She must be impressing the judges right now that are sitting in the audience. Getting ready. 2 back handsprings, 1 back handspring. Looks like she's hesitating a little bit. She usually does those 2 in a row. Taking it a little bit easy. She's done so well so far. Whoops.
Almost stepped off the back of the beam.
You can see she felt that. Beautiful exercise.
Well, Kathy, as she mentioned to you in the interview, she was hoping to really impress the judges, and I'm sure with that performance, she has done exactly that.
Years old, out of the University of Oklahoma, coached by Paul Zert, world champion on the parallel bars, and not too shabby on this event either.
Now watch all the one pommel work. He just stays on one pommel for a long time. And this is very, very difficult. There he's back on one pommel again. He likes the horse. He works very well on the horse. Nice high scissors half turn. You know, the crowd loves him here, too. It's such an intimate little gymnastics family watching this exhibition. Oh, that's a whale of a routine. He'd like to take that one into competition.
Too bad the judges aren't scoring for Bart Conner.
Well, in order to accomplish this one pommel work, Bart Conner is going to have to service 2 different elements. One of the elements is the position over the horse. He's got to keep his center of gravity right over one pommel. It's a very difficult challenge. The second is speed of hands. The longer his hands are away from the pommel, the greater the liability for falling. So the hands have to get back to the pommel with just lightning-like speed.
As a part of this exhibition, we've had an opportunity to see an example of modern rhythmic gymnastics. which will be an Olympic event for the first time in 1984. In slow motion, you're watching Elena Davydova of Bulgaria. Elena is performing here in free exercise, unlike other examples of modern rhythmic you may have seen, where a ball or ribbon, for example, is employed. And unlike artistic floor exercise, modern rhythmic involves no tumbling. It's lyrical and lovely.
Champions with Steve Zabriskie, Kathy Rigby-Mason, and Gordon Maddox.
Welcome back to Montreux, Switzerland, and the Exhibition of Champions, commemorating the 100th anniversary of the International Gymnastics Federation. This is Steve Zabriskie, along with Gordon Maddox and Kathy Rigby-Mason. You're watching Luci Collins of Huntington Beach, California, performing in floor exercise, 17 years old. She's making an excellent impression upon the gymnastics gathering here in her first international exposure. Kathy?
She is a big hope for the United States team. Lots of spring. Great poise out there for the first time. Layout with a full twist. Every move is stretched, perfected. Her technique is incredibly good. Nice routine.
Luci Collins in her really first big exposure internationally. Really looking forward to the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles.
If you use Desinex for athlete's foot.
Alexander Davydova of the Soviet Union. Strong in almost all events, including the ring.
I'll tell you, it's just amazing. He is so long that it doesn't seem like there's any way he could show the power that he shows here. But I think he'll start with a pull to a cross from the bottom. There it is. Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. And then he'll do a kip to a planche here. With that body, you got to say almost impossible. And the rings are just really steady.
He is larger than most gymnasts.
He's about 5'11". That's a lot of body to get around on all these moves, especially the hold and the strength positions. Nice dismount. That's a sensational routine.
Alexander Davydova, who won the gold medal in the still rings at the Moscow Olympics in 1980. One of 3 gold medals he won during that competition.
Davydovan's power is a real source of amazement for me. Now watch this. A quick pull up into a cross, and it's a very level cross. From here, he drops back into a basket position. He'll kip and swing immediately into a planche. There's the kip, and bang, right up into the planche.
And looking on, the great Soviet gymnast, think of the many wonderful moments she's brought us over the years here on ABC Sports. She's married to the former Soviet Olympic sprinting champion Valery Borsov, and they have a 2.5-year-old daughter. Recently, on a boat tour of Lake Le Mans, she talked with us about the outstanding moment of her great career.
Each athlete dreams of becoming an Olympic champion, and it's a great joy and happiness when this goal is achieved. That's why I consider my most successful and happiest performances were in the Munich Olympics in 1972, when I became the all-around Olympic champion.
Back with a half twist, a tight position, right into a round off the box, back, something in the tuck position. Gosh, this gives me a thrill to watch someone work this way. What talent. 11,000 people agree, and I'll bet you 4 judges do too. Full twister, done with all the class in the world. You bet.
Talk about poise. Ludmila Gurisheva. She needs a 9.8 to win the gold medal. What do you think, Gordon?
I got her in first place right now. I don't see how they can give her less than 9.8. Look at it.
9.9. She's won the gold medal.
That was 9 years ago when Ludmila Gurisheva became the all-around Olympic champion. 8 years later, another Soviet gymnast would follow in her footsteps as the all-around champion at the Moscow Olympics. Elena Davydova of the Soviet Union, and here she is performing in Montreux in floor exercise.
She shows the old style of the Russian gymnast in that there's a lot of dramatic facial expressions. 1.5 right into a punch front. Brand new move, never seen before in international competition. Beautifully done. She seems to have a lot of fun out there. There's been a lot of controversy around her, whether or not she deserved the gold medal at the Moscow Olympics. And she really seems to put the most effort out to prove that she is Olympic champion here. Here we'll see a little Egyptian music. Watch this head movement. Watch this. Difficult to do. You can see she's a real crowd pleaser. She brings that audience right down to her level. Shades of Olga Korbut there.
She's got that pixie quality.
Right. Full twist. You can bet she's going to get a big round of applause.
In what has to be the highlight of the exhibition so far, Elena Davydova of the Soviet Union in floor exercise and getting a tremendous ovation from this very knowledgeable gymnastics crowd. She has really brought back something to gymnastics, and particularly floor exercise, that we haven't seen since the days of Olga Korbut. And the crowd does not want her to leave the platform at all.
Here is the world champion in this event, Bart Conner of the United States and the University of Oklahoma, now 23 years old. And Bart says that he's going to stay on, Gordon, and compete to be ready for the 1984 games.
You know, it's not surprising that he won a world championship on the parallel bars. He has always said that he felt that this was his strongest event. He just had trouble putting it together in competition for a long time. Love his mount. All right, peach handstand. Stitz handstand, very nice. Back to a handstand. Pirouette out to the side, and a glide into his English press. The only one in the world that I know of that uses the English press. Really a difficult balance, a difficult press.
Takes a lot of strength as well.
And a double off. Yeah, good exercise.
Bart Conner showing his world championship parallel bar form here in Montreux. Earlier, he told us how he performs that unique and most difficult English handstand.
Start by gliding up from the side. This gets me set up for the straddle L on one bar, which has to be very stable if I want to hold the press to handstand. Once I get set, it's important not to stay there too long because you have to move very quickly and very smoothly on parallel bars and not hold too many positions for too long a period of time. Pressing up, I think of really gripping the bar very tightly and squeezing. That gives me a good balance all the way up, and the press is probably the most difficult part, but I think the part that I think is the most impressive is when I do stay on one bar for at least 1 or 2 seconds. I think that shows the control in the one bar handstand, which is definitely the most impressive part of the skill. Not part that I can do every time, but when I do it, I think it's impressive that way.
It has been an occasion, a celebration of the 100th anniversary of the International Gymnastics Federation. We've had the opportunity to see current champions as well as new rising stars.